If you're a beginner struggling to sell your online service to local businesses, this video will probably help you. I'm going to show you the exact three-step framework that I've used to close over 200 SaaS clients and scale my agency to over $28,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. Now, one of the biggest issues I had when I first started was not understanding how to explain the value of what I was trying to sell to potential clients. I would spend over an hour on sales calls showing them every single feature that I was going to set up for them and how cool it was. I would show them how fast their website's going to be. I would show them all the fancy SEO tricks I was going to do. I'd show them how I'm going to get them 5-star Google reviews. I'd show them how I'm going to make them beautiful social media posts and post it to all their platforms at the same time. And every single sales call ended basically the same way. They would say, "Yep, this looks great. I just need to think about it. I'll get back to you." Guess what? They literally never, not once, ever got back to me. They ghosted me like my ex-girlfriend. And that's because I was trying to sell them features, not outcomes. Small businesses don't give a shit about all the bells and whistles and the fancy features. They only care about how what you're going to sell them is going to make them more money. That's it. And when someone doesn't understand something, they don't buy it, ever. Clarity always creates the sale. That's when I figured out the 3R framework that I'm about to show you right now. This completely changed the way that I ran sales calls, and it made me able to actually explain what I was selling so these people actually understood exactly how I was going to make them more money. And that's when I started getting people's credit cards, and that's when I started to scale my business. So let me just show you exactly how it works. Okay, this is the 3R framework. I try to use this on almost every single sales call because if I can get a client to understand this framework and I'm the one to give them a light bulb moment and they understand the value, they will buy from you. Now, really quick, I'm going to jump into it. I want to explain why GoHighLevel SaaS specifically is hard to sell. If you are selling anything else besides paid ads, the value proposition is very difficult to sell. If you're running paid ads, you can tell a customer basically, "Hey, we're going to spend this much on ads and you're going to get this many leads," right? You can give them a rough estimate. But if you're doing anything else besides that, let's say you're selling websites or reviews or auto call text back or remarketing campaigns or social media stuff, right? That indirectly brings them more business, right? Ads is direct response marketing. So it's very easy to explain to someone, "Hey, I'm going to run your ads. You're going to get more business." But if you're doing anything else besides running ads, which I think you should be, I hope you are, it's much harder to explain the value. That's why we have the 3R reputation, resell, reach system, right? So the way that I explain this to any kind of contracting business or home service business is, "Hey, Mr. Customer, I don't want to be boring and, bore you with an hour-long sales call and try to pitch you a bunch of bullshit. Can I just really quickly show you something?" And they say, "Yeah, of course, blah, blah, blah." So I'll jump in here real quick. I'll pop this open and I'll just say, "Listen, dude, I wish I could just run your ads for you and tell you you're going to get this much business in this amount of time. But unfortunately, that's just not how it works. But let me just explain kind of exactly what we do and how it's going to make you more money." Because obviously, that's why we're here, right? You get them to agree. They say, "Yep. Okay, awesome. Cool." So I'll say, "All right, dude, this is how contracting businesses work. You probably already know a lot of this stuff, but I'm just going to quickly explain it to you. So your reputation. What do you look like online, right? When somebody Googles you, can they find you? When they reach out to you, how fast do you get back to them? When somebody Googles your business, do you have a lot of good reviews? Do you look professional online, right? We just had a guy the other day come in. He's spending $5,000 a month on ads. When we Google his business, a whole different company pops up, right? So obviously that's a problem for that guy because he doesn't have his reputation in place, right? This is just like building a house. You have to start with the foundation first, and then you obviously build the roof last. So that's your base level, right? That's your reputation. Does that kind of make sense so far? And then they say, "Yes, okay, cool." Because you want to make sure they're with you, right? You want to give them that light bulb moment. So you say, "Awesome, cool." So the next thing is resell. So you say, "Okay, Mr. Contractor, I know you probably already know this, but we want to make the most of every customer that comes in the door, right? The best kind of customer is A, a referral, or B, a return customer. So we want to make sure that you're making the most of every opportunity that you get. So every single customer you get, we will remarket to that person and offer them some kind of an incentive or a discount that they can give their friends to give you a referral, or they can become a return customer, right? And what that looks like, it's super basic. Let me give you an example. I text you saying, "Hey, this is Kai with Kai's Landscaping. It was a real pleasure doing business with you. Just wanted to give you a 10% discount on your next job with us," right? So now we're making the most of every customer that comes in the door. Does that make sense? They go, "Yep, awesome, cool, blah, blah, blah." And then you say, "Okay, finally, there's reach," right? This is building the actual roof on your house, on your metaphorical house, right? The problem is so many contracting businesses start with reach, right? They start spending money on paid ads. They start spending money on trying to push people to their business, but they don't have the first two systems in place. Does that kind of make sense? They go, yeah, awesome. So by the way, what reach is paid ads. This is, $1,000 to $3,000 a month. You are pushing people to your business. But the point is what's the point of pushing people to a business if you don't have your first two systems in place, right? Like I mentioned earlier, we had the guy come to us who's spending $5,000 a month. And when we Google his business, right, someone completely different pops up. Now, what you're doing by saying that is you're saying, "Oh, look at that guy. He's an idiot," right? He's dumb. So you're indirectly calling your client dumb, right? a little bit, because they're probably in the same situation as that guy because they probably have a shitty online presence. Maybe it's not the exact same as that guy, but it's probably similar. So what you're doing is you're taking the blame away from your client and you're putting it on someone else. The way that it kind of works is you and your client are almost sitting together, like looking and laughing at that guy, right? So it doesn't come off offensively, even if the other guy you're talking about, right, the metaphorical guy who's spending $5K a month on ads, and when we Google their business, they don't pop up. That metaphorical guy, even if he's in the same situation as your client, or your client is in the same situation as him, the client won't take offense to that because you're talking about someone else in a third party situation. So that's how I pretty much always pitch it. The outcome of all this stuff is more business, but you have to be the one to actually explain this and make them have that light bulb moment. And then you're the person they're going to work with. But what you can sell with GoHighLevel is websites, reviews, auto call, text pack. This is all reputation. And then remarketing is super basic as well. And that's resell. If you want to run ads, you can. I mean, I made the majority of my money just doing these 3 or 4 things. I still don't run ads at all to this day. So you can make a lot of money just selling these systems. But what you want to do is, these guys have all been pitched $3,000 for social media ads, right? Facebook, Instagram, all that bullshit. So you're gonna be selling these things at $297, $397 a month. So you're undercutting the market by a lot. And then you can sit here and make fun of people who spend thousands of dollars or try to pitch them on thousands of dollars of ad spend, right? Because all these contractors have been pitched this stuff. So now what you can do is you want to pretend like you're sitting across the table from them at the start of the sales call. At the end of the sales call, you want to be sitting on the same side of them, right? Metaphorically, showing them all the shit that everyone else is doing and how they're getting taken advantage of by other people, right? That's called throwing rocks at your competitors. So you want to throw rocks at every single agency that's trying to run ads for them, right? And I promise you, every contractor has been pitched a shit ton of Facebook and Instagram ads, and they've been pitched $1,500 to $3,000 a month plus ad spend. So they can all relate to that. If you can do that whole thing and make them understand the value and give them that light bulb moment, like I said, they will buy your shit.